that he doesn't know. When he's asked about becoming the deputy CM, he says, I don't know about it. What is your take on the entire thing? Mr. Mayappan, you'll have to unmute yourself. I'm unable to hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go on.
See, it's not surprising coming from the Congress that one more family member gets honored rather than one of the district presidents or district secretaries whose work, put up posters, strategized, helped you win local body elections, will you legislatures and parliamentary seats be honored. That's not surprising to start with. And this is part of the power play that I was talking about. It's not that Siddaramaiah is going away from the state politics, but he's ensuring that his people are kept in the state. So I don't think it's going to stop with Yatindra. I'm quite certain someone like Mr. Bopanna, BS are all going to be retained. They're all going to be provided with new portfolios. And also people who are from his constituency or from his communities. And as much as we talk about the OBC, the Hinda bloc will also be looking at support because the backward classes, the minorities, they've also been stronger voting blocks for the Congress, at least when it comes to parliamentary elections compared to the BJP. So if they don't support them and if they don't provide them with necessary portfolios, that is something that they'll face backlash from. In fact, I'm surprised that someone like Satish Jabrioli has not been offered a senior ministerial role or a deputy CM's role, and that's not something that the Congress has considered. Or even a Priyank Kharge being offered something of that sort. That way they're able to play that up to the masses around the country. So the Congress will have to look back. The Congress has a lot of issues to play with. But once again, it's not surprising. Another reason why I also want to point out these issues is Congress is not dealing something that's very systemic to this party. The nation needs a strong opposition party. You have a party in good governance, you need another party that can question the party that's in governance. You like it or not, whatever be their ideology, there needs to be stronger ideas that float from the opposite side. If you're going to be fighting, keeping your administration, your flocks of hen together, you're not going to be able to run the country, you're not going to be able to support the country. What is the purpose of forming the Congress? And they claim that they're a 150-year-old party. I don't legally understand that. What the party, Alan Octavian Hume started for the freedom movement is different from what Congress I, Congress O and the subsequent Congresses became. Legally also the separately registered societies. But leaving that apart, what does the Congress today stand for? What do they want to do in the country? Rahul Gandhi speaks different things in different states. They have different allies in different states. They're allied with the CPI, CPM in Tamil Nadu. In Kerala, they fight them. They're allied with them in Delhi. They're opposing them in West Bengal and Tripura. So the Congress has the same issues in the region as well. And the same thing goes on with communities. And the same thing goes on with businesses. You can keep talking about Adanis, Ambanis and Birlas, but you can't keep calling them, say, you come and invest in my state. How are you going to do that? So these are things that the Congress will have to think about. And one more thing that comes to my mind is now in allocation of these ministries. Are you going to be allocating these ministers based on their experience, based on which regions they come from, based on which people they are going to support? Are you going to give ministries based on loyalties? Are you going to give ministries based on where revenue is going to be generated for the party and not for the state? So these are again questions that come through, and these are questions that every neutral individual and the opposition is going to harp on. And something that I'm going to be seeing is tall leaders like Yediyurappa, H.D. Devegowda and Siddaramaiah are being taken away from the state politics. What mentorship role are going to give them for the state, because they've had a large history of what the state is transformed into. So how is that going to be brought in, at least as far as each of those political parties are concerned?
Right, Mr. Bipin Sharma, also I'd like to get in on this, and I'm going to open this debate up a little bit. Mr. Bipin Sharma, what do you have to say about what your fellow panelists are saying and the portfolio bit that we were discussing?
You see, first of all, I would say that there are some very, pertinent issues that need to be addressed. First of all, the crunch of funds, because that is what was stated 2 days ago. So that means that whether a lot of money has gone into the welfare schemes versus development, because both have their own importance. But then there has to be a balance between both. So that is one aspect. Secondly, everyone would, because there are two camps now, and that is quite evident. There is no second thought about it, and no one can deny. So, in such a scenario, like I said earlier, that, everyone would like, both these camps would like to have their contenders in the, as the front runners, for the good cabinet berths. So, that aspect keeping in mind the other aspect is that this particular selection of DKS is not just for 2 years. It is also kept with the view of, Congress going into elections in 2028. So then, hypothetically, assuming that Congress wins the election, so whether DKS will continue, so that is his probability becomes higher of assuming the chair of the CM. But then the other scenario also you cannot reject, because he would be under tremendous pressure, keeping in the consideration the point that DKS has less support of the MLAs compared to Siddaramaiah. So now, if he fares well, so definitely it would be a complete win-win situation for him, because then there would be this very strong probability of him continuing as the CM if in case Congress wins the next assembly elections. So, but then you should never undermine your opponents, because BJP is also fully charged up, considering that there has been infighting, and the infighting has come out in the open. So, and no one seems to be in a denial mode. It's just a matter of few days when this official oath-taking ceremony of DKS would take place. And then, of course, now whether there would be, some sort of discontentment amongst those who don't actually get the ministerial berths, that of course time will determine. But then, as far as the names like G. Parmeshwara, M.B. Patil, Priyank Khagre, and then Zamir Ahmad Khan, so they are strong contenders to be in the cabinet. But then at the end of the day, this formula, this concept of a deputy CM or having 4 CMs, 2 CMs, does not augur well for anyone, because, especially for DKS, because then he would not have a free hand, because this, tussle has gone far too long. So now when, because Congress High Command took stock of the situation, because before, the matters could escalate, because they must have borne in mind the fact that what happened in Assam, because Himanta Biswa Sarma, a Congress stalwart, was seeking time to meet Rahul Gandhi. But when he didn't get time, he got disappointed. As a result, he shifted sides. And today he is the Chief Minister of Assam from BJP. So Congress, of course, has learned from its past mistakes. That is why, better late than never, they took stock of the situation that all is not well between these two camps, Siddaramaiah and DKS. That is why DKS got a chance. Now it all depends on DKS, how he fares and how he is able to do the caste balance, the regional balance. Because then, and the other, the development versus welfare schemes. Because, as I said, both have their own importance. But then, at the end of the day, you have to manage within your resources, your funds.
All right. I'll